told you. How dumb do you think we are?
Mark Carney is heading back to Washington as early as tomorrow to meet with Donald Trump discussing the tariffs. The question is what is Canada going to lose during this next meeting with Trump? But I'm here to tell you, and I'll let you know what the Liberals have already given away. They're preparing to surrender, and how the Conservatives should be ready to call it out loudly. Let's get into it. Let's recap where we are right now, October 6th, and Mark Carney is meeting with Donald Trump tomorrow to put forward some trade and security policies and try to remove the US tariffs on Canadian goods. This meeting is coming after months of stalled negotiations between Canada and the US. And this is also the same guy that campaigned on Orange Man is so bad and I'm the man for the job and I'm the master negotiator.
When you go hard in the corners, your elbows up, the time in a game, we drop the gloves in the first period and just send a message. And we've done that pretty uniquely in the world.
Well, I think your negotiations are down just like your elbows. So now let's consider the internal content. The first 4 months of 2025-2026 fiscal year, our deficit is being reported at $7.5 billion. More than the $7.3 billion we had last year under Trudeau. Meanwhile, the genius of the budget will balance itself rhetoric is alive. Carney announces that starting 2025, the main federal budget will shift from the spring to autumn. The first one under this new schedule. It is being said that it will be released November 4th. Timing gives the Liberals cover to drop big announcements and compress debate. Well, the markets are watching. Our Canadian dollar is under pressure, and sectors are getting jittery about what will slip in behind closed doors. The stakes for tomorrow are enormous, and we need to make sure that Canadians know what's on the line. We are already dropping retaliation strength, and we have shown the US that. Liberals have quietly begun to shift parts of Canada's trade policy to align with the US expectations. That's going to weaken our bargaining posture. Now Mark Carney is walking into a negotiation for tariffs that he's already dropped. Now we are coming from a weaker position. I can only imagine what we're willing to give up tomorrow. So we were all asking the Liberal government to immediately table a budget, and they were saying that moving the budget from spring to autumn is with construction season. But that also compresses legislative oversight. And if they want to sneak in concessions into that budget or the footnotes, this will provide them cover. And look, the fiscal picture is not pretty. The deficit is growing. The first 4 months, it is already showing $7.7 billion. That's going to put pressure on them to hide the cost. Pressures in capital versus operating. Accounting games. Going to be playing accounting games at this point. Earlier this week, Mark Carney's cabinet has made some rather odd statements, I would say. Said this is shared priorities, renewed partnership, without releasing any clear negotiation strategies prior to the visit. And this will allow them to backpedal and pivot publicly when this goes horribly wrong, because they didn't promise us anything, right? Mark Carney never really got on the stage and said, I will make sure we have no tariffs and I will make sure that everything is okay.
We have to recognize that the Donald Trump of today is different than the Donald Trump of several years ago. Then his objective was to take more of our market. Now he wants to take our country. Let me finish by pointing out one other thing. Who's the worst person to stand up to Donald Trump? It's Pierre Poilievre.
And I will make sure that Trump's plan to make tariffs so ridiculously high that Canadian businesses want to leave, I'll make sure that doesn't happen. And then well, Mr. Carney, we know where your loyalty lies. Of course there needs to be consequences. And what happens when Canada does give way too much? And if these concessions run around automotive, aluminum, or energy, we risk hollowing out those sectors majorly. Canadian workers in manufacturing, mining, and energy lose first. Once you yield in one sector, US negotiators are going to expect you to yield even further. And Canada's margin for resistance shrinks completely. Mark Carney then also offered full transparency. He came out to the news and said he was going to publish his mandate for these tariffs and what that might look like the red line, and what he won't back down on. We are not getting that. Don't let the liberals spin this as corporation. Canada is not a brand. This isn't speculation. The balance of power is shifting already, and Canada is already entering a new era of trade, of debt, of sovereignty challenges. If Carney walks away with a deal that straps tools, trades leverage, or binds us to the US preferences, that is compromise, my friends. Share this video, demand answers from your MPs, and please like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you, everybody. This was Politics with Conservatory.